seller's fears. Why would a seller have fear at all? Well, we've been told by our sellers over the last 3 decades that there's lots of fears that they have around selling their property, or maybe in fact not selling their property. I'm Yetta Decker.
I'm Ken Decker.
And we're going to talk about that and address those fears. And when I use the word fear, they could be concerns.
Yes.
Right? Depending on how strong I want to be with the language. And yet the word fear gets a little more attention than the word concerns. Right?
Are you sensationalizing things?
No.
This isn't the news, you know.
Well, I'm not sensationalizing it. And for some people, it really is a deep-seated fear.
Yes.
Correct?
As a matter of fact, it's right up there.
It is. Because moving in general is in life one of the top 3 stressors that people experience.
What are the other 2, Yetta?
Let's see. Death and marriage? Family situation? Change?
Yeah.
Marriage,
change in marital status.
That's kind of what I meant, but I'm thinking marriage was really tough for me. The whole marriage gig was difficult.
Yeah, it won't be
The
as
wedding
bad
part.
as it won't be as bad as the other side.
That's true. So those, death or of loved ones,
Yeah.
and also change in marital status.
And death of yourself. Some people fear that.
Well, that's true.
Yes.
Those are our top 3.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. So isn't it amazing that we were chosen to live in a profession and like give our whole lives to it, something that stresses people out? That actually kind of makes me sad.
Well, the goal is we stress them out less.
Right, and that has been our focus for the last almost 3 decades and continues to be. So how do we reduce, mitigate, and even eliminate those fears and or concerns that people have?
Did you say almost 3 decades?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is. It's the
Wow.
truth.
Makes me feel like I'm married to an old realtor.
A realtor with much experience is who he is married to.
A mature realtor.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
the worst ever was the time that somebody called Ken and asked if they could speak to his mother,
Yes,
which
that was
was
awesome.
me, his realtor partner. I did cry that day. I haven't gotten over it. That was probably 20 years ago, and I still have not recovered.
I did say to the realtor, now there's no reason to get nasty. It was an honest mistake, but we did chew him out on it a little bit.
Anyway, so one of the seller's top fears is either pricing too high or pricing too low.
Getting the wrong price.
Yeah, getting the wrong price, because it's very easy in a market where there is a fair bit of, I'm going to say inconsistency in what is selling. Because there is so much inventory and still great volume of homes are selling, because there's a lot of inventory, price matters in this market way more than it's mattered in other markets.
Yes, because if the market's going up at 6, 8, 10%, whatever, if you overprice your house, the market will catch you.
Pretty quickly.
And within several months, you'll be at the market value and you'll sell your house probably. Now the difficulty is in a flat market or slightly decreasing market, in the case of the condominiums, if you price too high, it can be a long time.
Right. So and pricing too low, I think, is equally a concern for people, because if we underprice it and it sells quickly, then the thought is, well, we underpriced it.
Can we really underprice something?
You can't. Well, you can if you're not with somebody that's actually going to market your property.
Yeah, there's a strategy around
Right.
that to get multiple offers and get a bidding war going.
Right. So in even a balanced market or a flat market, as Ken, I think, calls this one, a steady market.
Steady market.
Steady market. So some of the language we're using is language we've used on previous shows, on our market update shows. And if you want to watch that, the one from January let me see if I get this right, 15th, is a show on 2014 in comparison to 2015 or 2015 in comparison to 2014 and a bit of a forward looking into 2016. You'll really want to watch that one because that helps eliminate some of those concerns or fears around overpricing or underpricing because you have an understanding of what the market's doing.
Yes.
Right?
And then you bring in an expert.
Well, of course you do.
To tell you the hyper local what's going on in your market. And then we show you comparable homes with color pictures.
You show me or you show?
Well, I show the client.
Okay.
Comparable homes with color pictures and get a real sense of where their property sits in the market and where appropriate pricing would be to actually net the most amount of money.
That's right.
Because if you go too high, you can get that stale bread kind of feeling. And I don't know
people ask the question, well, I can even ask this of you. If I say a property's been on the market a long time, intuitively, what comes into your mind? What is
wrong with that property?
Exactly. So pricing it too high is something you want to be conscious of so that you don't do it. It's not a fear when you have an expert on your side ensuring you don't do that, helping you make a great decision on price. And too low, what Ken was talking about was as long as you have a strategic, tactical expert on your side in the real estate industry, you can't underprice it because you would use strategy that ensures you actually get more than you're asking.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you don't market the property, you can absolutely underprice a property. Mm-hmm. So call us and that won't happen. We actually promise on that one because that's with the strategies and the systems and the processes that our clients have helped us establish and all the educational learning and all the courses we've been to that have taught us over the last 30 years or so almost, that can't happen. Won't happen. Mm-hmm. So the second fear.
I got nowhere to go.
I know, and that is a very real concern if we haven't been wise about structuring closing date timelines, having a backup plan, because sometimes you can't go door to door for the best sale.
Right, especially in a market where there's very, very little inventory. This is a very good concern. Right now, there's so much selection that I would find that would be a more difficult one, unless they've got a very, very specific style of home, specific location. Then we may be better off to go buy it first and then sell their house.
Right, and not everybody is in a position to do that. And one of the qualifiers around being able to buy a home before you sell a home is, in fact, that you have peace of mind. It's not just the financial piece. Can you afford it? Can you do it? Many can. Can you still sleep at night?
Yes, and are you willing and are you financially able to price your other home that you need to sell off at a price that will cause it to sell within the time frame that you require to buy the other one?
Right, because there is no home that we cannot sell.
Really?
Really.
Because that's what number 3 is. The biggest fear is, will it sell?
Right.
And you just said there's no home we can't sell.
No, we just actually sold one a few days ago that was has not been maintained for a few decades, as long as I've been in the industry.
Okay.
Hasn't been maintained. And the folks are no longer able to live in the home and therefore need to go to a different living situation. And Candace came in, met with them. The kids are involved as well as mom and dad. And everybody's concern, including the lawyer that's helping them, concern was, will it sell? And Candace said, absolutely it will sell. Let us put it into the market at where we would like to see it sell. If it does not sell there, then our next strategy is to position it here. And so they were very strategic about it, wanted to make sure they were leaving no money on the table, did not waste a lot of time between the adjusting period, the reposition time. And we did have
2 weeks, I think,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And we had good activity that first 2 weeks and yet no offers. And so Candace said, so absolutely, let's follow through on the strategy we've already laid in place. And let's not worry. And within a couple of days, the property did sell. We did have more than one interested party. We did get great value for the property. And the comment that the lawyer said to Candace when she sent the paperwork over is, the kids had been in talking to me and telling me that they didn't think it was going to ever sell. how did you sell
How
it?
did you sell it in 3 weeks?
Right. And right over the Christmas season.
Yeah.
And so it was being strategic about the marketing and about positioning, about who we exposed it to, about the negotiating process, because we held our ground when we actually did get an offer. And so, which wasn't very long. So will it sell? The answer is, if you're listing with the Decker team, take our counsel, work with us, we work with you, you work with us, it will sell. We just sold another one for just shy of $1 million in less than 30 days. Which often is a difficult price point. And again, they took our counsel. They wanted to price it here. We recommended here based on the market, based on the location, based on what's happening, and based on the stats that are available. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And we have a very long closing. So we were even able to answer their question of nowhere to go because we were able to negotiate a very long closing, giving them ample time to find a fabulous place to go to.
That's great.
Right? So we handled 2 and 3 all at the same time.
Wow.
I know.
It's a good thing the
And
door.
number one.
It's a good thing the door is wide because I can get my head through it still.
Oh my goodness. If our clients didn't cooperate with us, we couldn't do anything. So it's actually you that's causing the properties to sell, and we're
Right.
grateful for that. Number 4.
Fixing the wrong thing or spending too much money on my house on the wrong things.
Yeah.
It happens a lot
It does happen a lot
when they don't get counsel
early.
early.
And so we're finding our clients that we've worked with before and those that we've built great relationship with, people that are maybe thinking even a year, 2 years out. I know just yesterday Candace went to see somebody that's 2 years out, and I went to see somebody that's quite a ways out as well. And we can have a great conversation about where do you spend your money and what things do you not spend your money on.
Right.
And that can completely eliminate that concern because it's a valid concern if you're not in the real estate market every day. And in fact, in the almost 30 years I've been in the industry, there's been a shift in what things I would recommend you change and what things you focus on.
Right.
Right? Like it's
And
not
even-
even the same answer
Even
anymore.
painting. You know, like it used to be people put a fresh coat of paint on, they would make it neutral or light, and put it on the walls, and away they went, and they said, okay, good, it's ready to sell. Now it's more about color selection. It's spend the couple $1,000s and have a professional painter.
Or if you're
cut
very
in
good at
properly.
it.
No, yeah. The problem is most aren't.
Well, I'm not.
I'm not that
you.
good at it. I paid someone to paint my house.
Yeah.
Because I'm good at rolling, but cutting in, and if you don't cut in well,
There's a lot of color on this ceiling.
Yeah,
and
and
when
on
you
the
try and
trim.
cover it up, you
Yeah.
can see all your white spots that are now pinky white or
Yeah, it
greeny
just
white
doesn't-
or
it's not
brown
a-
white.
it's not a good selling feature.
Right. And so that's also part of it. Fixing the wrong things, spending the money in the right places is also part of when you make an improvement, make the improvement so that it looks like an improvement.
Yes.
Right? As an example, I had folks that called me after, which is unfortunate. They'd gotten counsel elsewhere that said, go ahead and put laminate floors on the main level. The laminate floors was only 45 days old, so basically just over a month, and it looked 5 years old. And so we actually covered those laminate floors because after exposing it to the market for a period of time, that was the complaint again and again and again.
Yeah.
And if they'd simply spent the money on hardwood or really high quality engineered flooring in the first place, that has a place in certain properties, then it would have totally changed their ability to sell their home quickly rather than over a long period of time, and they wasted a lot of money.
Yeah. And the cheap laminate, the 60, 70 cents a square foot
even
or
a
whatever,
dollar, $1.50.
it's, yeah, if you get up to around $1.50 on sale, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
You really need to get something that's a good quality laminate if you're going to do laminate. You're going to spend the time to cut it and install it and put the underlay. You might as well spend a few more dollars and get something that's...
As a general rule.
That's
Sometimes we
quality.
recommend hardwood or engineered floor, so call us as early as you're thinking about it. If you're making the improvements for yourself and you don't really care about the return, and you're not going to bring that into the conversation when you bring the property to market, then feel free to do whatever your little heart desires.
Yeah.
I put a hot tub in my house several years ago in a property I owned, knowing that although I spent $12,000 on the hot tub in my lower level family room so I could watch TV, watch the fire, enjoy my world there, it didn't increase the value of the home at all.
No.
And so,
And yet you enjoyed it for 12 years.
right. And so I didn't mind that it did nothing for value. In fact, I believe they tore it out because it was not safe for their little children. So it was safe for my little children, though. I only had 1 or 2 kids fall in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so it really is one of those things that does not, it can be a fear that can be absolutely eliminated if you get some great counsel up front.
Right. So if you're just joining us on the show here, you're listening to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Decker team. And today's show is Seller Fears.
Right. And we're actually not just pointing out the fears, we're addressing how we can,
Oh, is that what we're doing?
eliminate, mitigate, get rid of, or greatly reduce. Support, encourage,
counsel,
and help.
Bring Kleenex.
Sometimes it requires that. So number 5, it's just too much work to get it ready. I'm just too tired. I just don't have the time to do the work in the home that I know it needs, is one of the concerns and fears that a lot of our sellers have.
Right.
And the answer to that is?
Well, we have 2 strategies.
Right.
One is you can price it appropriately, which will take
Absolutely.
that into effect.
Yeah.
Or you can spend some money, have someone else do the preparation, the cleaning, the painting, the trim work, whatever needs to be, any
Yeah.
delayed maintenance done up. And what will happen is we can even give you a price that we believe will be without the work and after the work.
Right.
And sometimes the price after the work is more than the cost of the work. And sometimes people aren't willing, even when they know they make a couple extra $1,000, they're still not willing to go through the headache, the just stress level of having your world turned upside down while contractors are in painting or changing flooring or whatever. And then we just price appropriately.
Right, and we don't want to turn your world upside down, so we want to do everything we can to get you in touch with the right people to make sure that that doesn't have to happen. And sometimes what our clients choose to do is maybe they have a little bit of energy to do a little bit of work, so they can do some of the work and then the contractor can do some of the work, because there may be certain things that are easy for them to do that really doesn't exhaust them or de-energize them. So we just come up with a plan as to how to attack those things. Number 6.
Safety.
Yeah.
Now, when we say safety, are they talking the personal safety, safety of their belongings?
I think it's all of the above.
Right.
And
Well, that's one of the reasons to hire a realtor, because if you don't hire a real estate agent to bring the clients in, you're opening your home to you don't know who.
right.
And you might be there by yourself or whatever, bringing somebody through. You haven't checked their ID, you don't know who they are, you have no relationship with them. It's a scary thing. It can be a scary thing. The other thing is safety around your belongings. We'll suggest certain things to put away, pack up, lock up, put into a safety deposit box. Don't leave jewelry and cash, that kind of stuff laying around. It's
Please
just
no.
Kind of common sense stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're living in your house, you don't generally think of that sort of stuff because you're not bringing strangers into your home.
Right.
Right. So, same thing with open houses. We have recommendations. We're always there. We're there for every showing. We open the house. We lock the house.
A realtor is there,
Yes.
not necessarily Ken Decker.
No.
Okay.
A
so we
real
don't-
estate agent is
right.
with every client that goes into the house.
And a real estate agent has had to go through several hoops to ensure that they are ethical and honest and adhere to guidelines and procedures, have criminal police check done. So, I mean, there is a level of safety just by having a third party that does have a professional designation as well as has been really looked at by the law.
Screened.
Screened. I was going to say scrutinized, and I was thinking that's a little intense maybe, and yet that's really what happens when you come into the industry, and we have to continually re-educate ourselves as well as re-license and reinsure and all of that. So that helps with the safety piece a lot.
Right. Now, number 7 is it's going to take too long to sell my house.
Right. And too long is relative.
Yeah.
And a very real concern and fear for a lot of people, because it takes a lot of work to get it on the market. And it takes a lot of work, even more work, to continue to keep it in great condition while it's on the market.
Especially if you have children, special needs,
or kids,
adults,
or dogs,
or whatever, dogs, pets. Best to send them on a holiday, actually.
Well, you can't always do that.
Well, I'll just give you an example.
Please do.
Showed a $900,000 home to a client. They liked it. Next time they're coming back with their spouse. We showed up during our time frame that we were allowed. The seller thought we'd already been there for whatever reason. I don't know why. They came back home. They had 2 dogs. We walk in the door. The dogs are jumping on us, nipping at our fingers, and the clients ruled out the house. And I don't know if it was partially because of that, because maybe they're not dog people.
Well, they're not.
And that really turned them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so taking your dog on a vacation is not, taking the grandma or grandpa's or whatever when you have showings, it's an important piece.
Well, and one of the things I talked to one of my sellers about just last night was they have a dog. Their house does not smell like dog. The floors are not scratched. It looks very nice. The walls are not marred. Like, there's no evidence of their little kids and the dog from a damage to the house. There's evidence in terms of dog food and dishes and dog bed and kids' toys and those kinds of things. And yet, if when they put it on the market for showings, to roll up the dog bed, tuck it away, get the dog food dishes away, and that kind of thing, cat litters out of sight, because when people see them, often what will happen is they now can smell what really isn't there to smell. Right? So they've attached a negative to something that isn't even evident in the house.
Yeah.
It's that psychosomatic, that psychological gig in your head going on. So if I see dog food, now I can smell dog in the house.
Yeah.
And so things like that can actually reduce greatly how long it takes to sell your home.
Yes, little steps.
Little teeny steps. And part of not taking too long to sell your home is also ensuring that we work with you strategically to ensure that the price is right. Condition matters significantly. The marketing we do, and we know how to handle that. So back to number 3, will it sell? The answer is yes, with our strategies and our marketing. And then also, it's got to be priced in the right realm. Which is back to number 1.
Yeah. So number 8 is I'm too attached to my property.
Yeah. And that can be really hard.
I've been here a long time, or the kids grew up here and now they're moved out and the memories are here. And what I've realized is that the memories are in your head, they're not in the house.
Right. And a perfect example of that was when we were making a move. Our son actually was a teenager at the time. We had consulted with the kids because we'd been in the home a really long time. Everybody agreed to the move, and yet on moving day, I found him in his bedroom, sitting on his desk. Of course, he was sitting on the desk, not on a chair, because the chair had already been moved out. The desk was still there. So he was sitting on the desk, and I said, "What's up, bud?" And he was beyond himself because of the memories in that house. And he felt like the memories would be left there. So we actually had that conversation that the memories could go with him if he would like. They didn't need to stay in the house. The house was a house, and it was great for him to grow up there. And he'd been born while we lived in that home. So it had been his entire childhood. He was, 15 at the time.
Yes.
And so just even becoming aware of that, allowing yourself to enjoy the memories that you've had, and then take them with you.
Yes.
Is helpful.
Yes.
Because not every move is a move we want to make.
No.
And for different family members, maybe some family members want to make it and others don't.
And what I find as well is sometimes it's difficult to detach from one property when you haven't psychologically attached to another property, if you don't know where you're going.
Yes.
So for some people in that case, we need to actually go out and find them a property that they want to live in before they'll put their house up for sale, or put it at the price that's going to cause it to sell, because they haven't psychologically detached from that
Absolutely.
property.
And
Yeah.
we have to do that. Number 9 is the fear of the unknown.
That's where we come in.
It is because
We know
can
our stuff.
We do know our stuff, and the entire team knows their stuff. So you're dealing with 9 people that know what to do. Each person has their area of expertise and can collectively and collaboratively navigate you through the entire process, so that that fear of the unknown, which is real for a lot of us in so many areas of our lives, is not one that you need to spend a lot of time worrying about, provided you really trust the people that are navigating you through the process.
Right.
And really, number 10 is where I started with the show, which is that it's one of the top 3 stressors in our lives.
So get a professional to help you walk through it.
And then the stressor can not maybe disappear, greatly be reduced.
So now we're going to talk about a great property.
Yes, we are.
This is a starter home. It's on Main Street in Chesterville, listed at $225,000.
Wow. And it's a single family, isn't
Single
it?
family, yep.
Single family home.
Yes, now
For under
$250,000.
under $250,000, which
Yes.
is fantastic.
So what's interesting, you say $250,000, that sounds like a lot.
Well, it doesn't to me, because most properties now are $500,000, $750,000.
As a matter of fact, the stats show that the largest segment of home sales was between 300 and 400,000 last year. It was around over 30% sold in that 300 to 400 range. And the 200 to 300 range was actually, I think, about 23% of the market. So still a big chunk of our sales is for first-time buyers. So this is a great property for the first-time buyers. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-story home. It's on 0.21 of an acre, which is great. It's got some hardwood, some carpet, kind of thing you can do some, updates on. The taxes aren't too expensive, only $2,000
Wow, a year.
a year.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep. So quite a great home. Drive a little, save a lot. is
Yeah,
a good
exactly.
saying,
Drive
right?
a little, save a lot is the kind of property we want to introduce you to today.
So Chesterville.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us on Sellers' Fears and how we are able to help you navigate and eliminate those through the Decker Team Experience of Excellence. Thanks for joining us on the Inside Track. And do give us a call. How would they do that?
613-860-4663.
Or
Send us an email at info@deckerteam.com. That's DEKKERTEAM.com. And we would love to help you, even if it's just information you need. We want to be your real estate resource for life.
and get rid of those seller fears.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.